if I could relate to that. But I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do any of this. I knew that. No. But maybe I didn't have to.
1964. Wow! 1963 was the build-up. The last two videos were a build-up to this. The real action. Beatlemania. At its full reality. It was starting in 1963, but now it's just gotten bigger. So it's a lot more mouths to feed and a lot more material to fulfill the beast and its respective fan club. Let's go into 1964 with a little bit of acknowledgement. Right now, the Beatles are at what many believe will be the top of their game. Of course, nobody could really foresee how wrong they were. At least nobody could who has a big enough platform to get the message out. Speaking of big platforms, stop dreaming. The Beatles are rehearsing for what will be the Ed Sullivan Show after arriving yesterday, and tickets are already sold out. If you're skeptical on that, I can change your mind in 3 seconds.
7 weeks.
No, it's not true.
See that? Yeah, it's called Success. Yeah, I haven't heard of it either. Why are they selling out tickets so fast? Why are people so interested? Well, so actually, back to my last video. Yikes. So the nation's youth is in some grieving right now because the president fucking died. The Beatles helped young Americans recover from the president getting shot and dying, or at least that's what claims to be the reason, and is the reason. But now, due to their contracts, the Beatles are kind of required to produce 2 albums per year, aka this is why they had to, Please Please Me, and with the Beatles, that's why they had to do that in 1963, and while they'll continue to follow this pattern because the law. But in the states where the Beatles are now located temporarily, Capitol Records does things differently. Like I said in my last video, blah 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 Beatles. Capitol feels the need to Americanize these Brits for American audiences. So they're not letting the Beatles just be, the Beatles. So that's how instead of Please Please Me and With the Beatles, we ended up getting Meet the Beatles! And introducing the Beatles. Yeah, don't they just look bad? Don't they just look bad? Just horrible, horrendous. Yeah, if I was a father in the 1960s and I saw the 4 ugliest men of my life on my daughter's record player, why I oughta I'd stereotypically do. Oh shit, it's sundown! And now it's tomorrow. So let's see how those bug fuckers did. Probably didn't even sell a ticket. Damn it!
Oh yeah, tell you something. I think you'll understand.
Before this, the wonderful management and manager Brian Epstein were talking some things through. And wow, look what came up. You know what could prevent those dirty teenagers from breaking in and harassing our favorite bugs? If we film them living life, and then the girly gooners can get a taste of that. Tasting the girly goo? Larry, fuck you. So the Beatles are going to now make a movie. An excellent movie. And for what reason? Money. But what do we call it? Man, it sure have been a hard day's night. Say that again. Over the exhausting, grueling time span from March 2nd, 1964 to July 6th, 1964, 4 months to make that shit? What the fuck? That's crazy. Like crazy, you don't see that anymore. But, the Beatles, of course, were going to use this movie as a way to promote something other than just their brand, because that would be stupid. Money. So, of course, they had to tie in an album with it. For the new film titled A Hard Day's Night, the album would in turn be the name I'm Working Like a Dog When I Should Be Sleeping Like a Log, which after some consideration was renamed to A Hard Day's Night. As those fuckers worked on the movie, they also worked on the album, and since Capitol is on agreeable business terms and signed the Let's Make a Shit Ton of Money contracts, they're doing their own things with all the singles and albums, because primarily, here, Because one, they need to Americanize the Beatles, but also United States albums and UK LPs are different in their track listing. For the US, usually an album consisted of 11 tracks as the standard to fit on one vinyl, but in the UK, they managed to fit 14. So basically, Capitol just re-releasing the UK singles and albums and merging them on into albums of their own, with some different changes made to the track list, so now they're on agreeable terms and making a lot of money. Now it's August 12th, and the film has now been released in both the US and UK, a month prior, and with that, the album A Hard Day's Night released. And of course, it's big. It's big. Huge, in fact. Massive. Capitol also released their own version of the album, panned with instrumentals and songs used in the actual film, so they can put the rest of the songs in different albums to make more money for the same songs, aka capitalism. And that's how we also got Something New, an album which I have. It was my grandma's. The gang kicked off A Hard Day's Night with a long-ass United States tour, which, yeah, you fucking get it, it was successful. Goddamn fucking hell, these goddamn fucking Brits. Anyhow, they don't stop working. Remember the contract? They have to make another album before the end of the year. But they don't really want to do that, so the next album they make has around 8 songs of originality and whatnot, but for the most part, it is just filled with covers. Because oddly enough, people don't like being overworked like that. Maybe they'll do something about that. Maybe. But not now. In the coming months. Damn it! Oh, he actually fucking made an announcement on his channel. Interesting. But not now. In the coming months, specifically December, and even more specifically December 4th, the Beatles put out Beatles for Sale. Named that probably to not sell the individual Beatles, but instead like sell the band, like talking to Beatlemania directly, which actually I have no fucking clue why it's called that. Why her old Beatlemania though? Well, for one, it fucking sucks for the band, if you can catch that. I know, it's shocking. So on one hand, there is so much good that happened. They changed the game, released a banger album, made a good-ass movie, and got so much money, and got girlfriends too, that they went to go cheat on. And yet, the bad is starting to outweigh the good. Beatlemania is starting to suck, they're heavily overworked to keep up the demand. They never have time for themselves anymore, they just have to release 2 albums per year, and they just signed a movie deal for 3 movies, so they have to make 2 other films eventually. So the Beatles, for the rest of the year, didn't get much of a break. And in the coming years, you're going to see how the Beatles try to free themselves from this. Which is why you should check out the other videos! I'm hurting myself for Pete's sake. It's like, if I was doing, all I would be doing is just correcting my own mistake. That's just, that's completely ethical. Now, back to what I was saying before you rudely interrupted me. Like, you were in the dream. Like, you were there. Like you narrated, you did a whole bit, and then after that, some stuff about a therapist. It was weird. Yeah, the dead one. Like, it's just stuff like that. It's just very, it's hard to recover from stuff like that. I know. It's risky.